Hey guys, I just need to get this off my chest because I've been walking around feeling like my ribcage is just full of wet cement. I'm 35, been married to Jenna, 33, female, for 9 years. We met when I was 26, she was 24. She used to be sharp, funny, a little chaotic, but in a fun way. Used to be. Somewhere along the line she morphed into someone else, and I just stayed on autopilot. I don't raise my voice. I don't slam doors. I'm not the dramatic one. I'm the one who sits there, takes everything in, and files it away. So, this was about 6 weeks ago, Wednesday, 10:17 a.m. I'm at work, neck deep in a quarterly budget spreadsheet, trying to make sure a formula isn't off by 1 decimal, and my phone buzzes. It's a message from Jenna. After 9 years together, she ends it like this: Alan, this isn't working. I want a divorce. My mind is made up. Don't try to change it. 12 words. That's all it took for her to throw 9 years in the trash. No, can we talk? No, I'm unhappy. Not even a phone call. Just a straight-up exit text like she was canceling a gym membership. I stared at my screen like maybe I misread it. Then I read it again and again. I typed one word back: okay. Not because I'm cold, but because I was already out emotionally. She didn't know it, but she was the only one who thought the house was still standing. I'd been sleeping with one eye open for over a year. All I needed was the match. Jenna has always been dramatic. Anytime we fought, small stuff like who forgot to take the trash out, she'd storm out, sometimes barefoot, sometimes in full makeup, depending on the mood. She always came back hours later acting like nothing happened. No apology. Sometimes she'd be crying. Sometimes she'd be quiet and want to be held. Once she threw my laptop across the room and then asked if I wanted Chinese food like 2 hours later. And I always played the calm one. I'd clean up, take her back, go to work the next morning like it was normal. That's how I learned to live, like a guy dodging landmines but still mowing the lawn. About 6 months ago, she got cold. Her phone started living face down. More client dinners. Missed our anniversary dinner. Forgot my birthday completely. When I brought it up, she got snappy. You're controlling. She said I can't be monitored all the time. I need space. She literally said this during one fight: you can't tame me, Alan. I'm not a house pet. So I shut up. But I didn't forget. I just started paying closer attention. Then I hired Bruce. Bruce is this calm older dude. My buddy from work recommended him, a private investigator. The guy blends in at Target, but he's good. 2 weeks later, Bruce sends me a folder. Jenna wasn't just cheating, she was playing herself. Jordan, her coworker, was rotating women like a playlist. Bruce had the receipts, photos, texts, recordings. Jordan talking trash about her, bragging that she left her husband and now won't stop texting him. He laughed about it. I played the audio 3 times, just sitting in my car one night. I filed it in my head like everything else. I wasn't surprised. So, when she texted I want a divorce, I wasn't stunned. I just hit send on my response. An hour after her message, I sent her 3 things. 1. A photo of Jordan holding hands with a redhead walking out of a hotel. One she didn't know about. Time-stamped last Thursday night. The same night she told me she was at a networking event downtown. 2. A screenshot of Jordan's message to someone else: can't wait for tonight. Jenna's been clingy as hell lately. 3. A voice memo where Jordan says, she left her husband for me, but that's not my problem. I never promised her anything. I didn't say a word. Just dropped those files in her inbox and went back to my spreadsheet. Numbers made more sense than people at that point. 3 hours later, I turned my phone back on. 37 missed calls, 11 voicemails, 16 texts. Chaos. Where did you get this? You can't believe him. Please, please. Alan, don't do this. I didn't mean the divorce text. Alan, please just talk to me. She even sent one that said, you're being cruel. You're hurting me for no reason. Right, no reason at all besides her playing me for months and thinking she could exit clean with a 12-word message. Around 6:00 p.m., she showed up at the house, banging on the front door like she was being chased. Hair everywhere, crying, screaming my name through the Ring camera. Alan, please let me in. I messed up. We can talk. I clicked the mic and said calmly, you said your lawyer would be in touch. I'm honoring that. She screamed back, I didn't mean it. I was emotional. I said, so was Jordan with the other women. Then I muted the feed and let her stand there. She kept banging on the door for like another 5 minutes. Then it turned into this weird sobbing pacing loop on the front lawn. Neighbors definitely heard, but no one said anything. Around here, people just pretend not to see stuff unless there's flashing lights involved. She eventually left. Not even her usual Jenna-style silence where she's trying to punish me and wait for me to break first. This was different. She wasn't running the show anymore, and I think that rattled her. The next day, she sends a text at 6:04 a.m., like she'd been up all night. I think we should talk face to face. This isn't like you. No acknowledgement of the cheating, the gaslighting, nothing. Just jumping straight to trying to talk it out like we were in some sitcom, and this was the part where the music swells and we hug in the kitchen. I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, fine. Be cold. You never fight for anything. That's the problem with you. Ah, there it is. The script flip. Somehow I'm the issue now. 9 years of loyalty and quiet patience, and now, because I'm not reacting the way she wanted, I'm the bad guy. Classic Jenna move, blame first, deflect later. By noon, she was back in full spin mode. I didn't cheat, Alan. It was emotional, and I wasn't with Jordan. It was complicated. Followed up with, and I only texted the divorce thing because I felt like you didn't care anymore. Yeah, no kidding. Maybe because I stopped entertaining the toddler tantrums and walking on eggshells less. Sue me for finally having boundaries. Still, I stayed silent. I was already talking to Natalie, my lawyer, a sharp, no-nonsense woman, the kind who makes judges nervous. I gave her the rundown, the evidence, the texts, the timeline. She looked at me and said, "You've got leverage. Don't waste it." So I didn't. That Friday, Jenna sent the cavalry. Her older sister, Stacy, 45, female, pulled up in her tan SUV and marched straight to my front porch like she was about to deliver a speech. I didn't open the door. I just watched her pacing through the peephole. She rang the bell, knocked, then yelled through the door, "Alan, you need to stop this nonsense. Jenna's hurting. You're being cold and cruel, and you know she has anxiety." I don't know if Stacy has ever heard of consequences. In her world, Jenna is still this delicate flower that gets to act like a brat because she's sensitive. I finally spoke through the door. She sent the divorce text, "Stacy, I'm respecting it." Stacy scoffed. Real dramatic. "Don't act like this is about one message. She's scared. She made a mistake. You're her husband. You're supposed to protect her." Protect her from what? Her own decisions? I just repeated, "I'll speak to her lawyer." That's it. Then I walked away. Let her talk to the door. Saturday was quiet. Too quiet. Then Sunday night hits, and I get a call from her dad, Ralph. Boomer energy through and through. Still thinks women don't lie and men should take it on the chin. He starts off like he's going to be neutral, but then it goes straight into guilt tripping. "Alan, Jenna told us what's going on. She says you've locked her out of the house and won't even speak to her. That's not the man I know." Me, she ended the marriage by text, Ralph. And she lied. She was cheating. I sent her the proof. What exactly am I supposed to do? Pretend it didn't happen? Then he says the magic line. Well, women get emotional. You shouldn't throw away 9 years over a little confusion. I hung up. At this point, I was just amazed at how fast they all defaulted to protecting her like she was 13. No one asked me what I'd been dealing with for the past year. No one asked if I was okay. It was just full-blown fix this before Jenna cries herself into a coma. Monday morning, I get a fraud alert from my bank. She tried to transfer $4,800 from our joint account into some random name I didn't recognize. I forgot I had changed the password 2 weeks prior. I called the bank, confirmed I never authorized it, and froze the joint account. Turns out she had my old login saved from back when she used to help with bills, aka when she'd use the joint account to buy overpriced wellness candles and subscription boxes she never opened. That night, I texted her. Any attempt to access my financial accounts again will result in formal charges. Future communication should be through your lawyer. She replied in like 3 minutes. How dare you talk to me like that? I have rights. I screenshotted it and sent it to Natalie. Natalie was loving this. She said we'd build a clean, airtight case. No spousal support because of the prenup. No property disputes. We didn't have kids. The house was mine before marriage. The car was a lease in my name. All she really had was her drama, and even that was wearing thin. Later that night, Jenna sent me a final text. You don't care about anyone but yourself. I gave you everything. I gave up who I was to be with you. I stared at it for a minute. I almost replied, but what could I say to that? She hadn't given up anything. She ran the house like it was her name on the mortgage, trashed my boundaries, ignored me when I asked for basic respect, and then handed me a breakup via text like I was some temporary dude she'd been seeing for 2 months. By Thursday, Jenna was in full panic mode. And you could tell from the way her messages started piling up like unpaid bills. You're ruining our lives. You're throwing everything away over one mistake. I only did what I did because you were never present. Okay, so now I caused her to cheat. Love that. I didn't respond. I just sat with it because every time she sent a message, she told on herself a little more. And the best part is, she didn't even know how deep she was digging. Friday morning, I got a call from my buddy Mason who works across town. He said he saw Jenna coming out of a hotel parking garage, not with Jordan but by herself, crying. I figured it was coming but didn't expect the full report until later. Turns out Jenna went to Jordan's apartment the night before. Now Jordan's not some smooth guy. He's one of those fake polished types. Nice shirts, gelled hair. Thinks calling women queen on Instagram makes him deep. That kind of guy. Works in marketing. Talks a lot about branding like it's a personality. Jenna fell for him because he made her feel like she was 22 again. But Jordan, he was never in it for the long haul. She was Tuesday night at best. Anyway, she showed up at his apartment unannounced, banged on the door until he opened. From what Mason's girlfriend, who knows someone in that building, told me, it got loud real quick. She started screaming in the hallway, "I left my husband for you, I gave up everything. You said I was different." Jordan just stood there in joggers and no shirt, sipping a protein shake like it was a casual Thursday. Cool as hell. "I said you were fun," he told her. "You took that and ran a marathon." She tried to go inside. He blocked her. "You embarrassed yourself," he said. "Why would I want someone who cheats on their husband and can't keep her cool?" Then she slapped him. He actually laughed. "You're wild, Jules. You think I'm going to be your rebound relationship? This wasn't a movie. You were just a side piece who took it too seriously." She grabbed his car keys off a table inside, forced her way in, and stormed down to the parking lot. She crashed his car into a short wall, nothing huge but enough to dent the bumper and scrape the side. Cops were called. She got arrested for assault and property damage, released early the next morning. You may ask, how did I find out? She texted me. "Jordan is a liar. He used me. He said all the right things, then humiliated me. I was defending myself. He laughed in my face. You need to help me, Alan. I'm not okay." I stared at the screen, then scrolled up and read her divorce text again. "Alan, this isn't working. I want a divorce. My mind is made up." "Yeah." It still said what I thought it said. Did I reply? Nah. I forwarded everything to Natalie, the arrest report, the text, even the footage a neighbor posted to their HOA group of her screaming in the parking lot like a scene from a low-budget drama. Natalie replied with a straight banger. "You've got the cleanest trail I've seen in 5 years. Stay boring. Let her be loud." So I did. That Saturday, Jenna's sister Stacy tried the sympathy card again. "Jenna's in a rough place. You should talk to her before she does something drastic." I didn't even answer. Stacy's been shielding her from accountability since college. Every failed job, every broken friendship, every meltdown, somehow always someone else's fault. She's the kind of sister who will say Jenna's just free-spirited when she blows rent money on crystals and retreats. Then Sunday morning I get a ping from my Ring camera. Jenna on my porch again. This time she was crying, "Alan, please, please just talk to me. I know I messed up, but you know me. This isn't me." I hit the mic button. "You're right. This isn't you. It's worse." She dropped to the porch and cried for like 10 minutes straight. Eventually, I called non-emergency dispatch and asked them to remove her from the property. I didn't want to press charges, but I made it clear this was a pattern. Now, by Monday, the restraining order paperwork was in. Natalie filed it. The judge approved it. Jenna was now legally not allowed within 300 feet of me, my house, or my office. Her lawyer was notified, and so was she. Everything Jenna touched, she broke. Her image is shattered. Her side guy publicly bailed, and her support circle is turning into a liability. The best part is I didn't have to lift a finger. She walked into every trap with the grace of a toddler in bowling shoes. I stayed calm and quiet. I documented everything. And now the court date was set. The moment where all the chaos she tried to project onto me would boomerang back into her lap. My soon-to-be ex-wife, the same woman who cheated, lied, cried, begged, accused, and tried to twist every truth into a weapon. She hadn't messaged me directly in over a month. Everything had been through lawyers. So, when I saw her name pop up, I expected either an emergency or a stunt. Guess which one it was. The message read, "I don't even know if I'll make it to court now. I was pregnant. I lost the baby. It's your fault. The stress, the constant pressure, you being a monster. I hope you're happy. I stared at the screen for a solid minute, not because I believed it, but because of how casual she tried to drop a nuclear bomb like it was just another Tuesday. Like I was supposed to fold, like I was supposed to lose it and beg her for forgiveness. No name of a doctor, no mention of how far along, just an accusation dropped like glitter at a toddler birthday party, messy, pointless, and everywhere. I didn't reply right away. Instead, I sent the message straight to my lawyer with the subject "More chaos incoming." 3 hours later, after probably not getting the panic she wanted, she hit me again. "I needed you, and all you cared about was looking calm. You don't even feel anything, do you? I was going through hell, bleeding alone, while you sat there smiling in your lawyer's office. Like I could time travel and take blame for whatever imaginary miscarriage she was acting out." Keep in mind, this woman hadn't mentioned a pregnancy once since she dropped her "I want a divorce" text out of nowhere. And suddenly now, a week before court, she was grieving a baby. Her last message of the day: "My therapist says this trauma will scar me forever. But maybe the court should know how you treated a pregnant woman. Let's see if your image holds up." That's when I replied, short and cold, "If you were pregnant and lost the baby, I'm truly sorry. I will take full responsibility in front of a judge if your lawyer provides the medical documents. I'm ready for accountability. Send everything over and we'll handle this in court." She read it, didn't reply. I guess that wasn't the script she was expecting. A couple things to note. She had 0 receipts. No ultrasound, no OBGYN name, not even a screenshot of an appointment reminder. Just drama. The kind you send when your lawyer tells you you're probably about to lose everything and you need a last-minute sympathy card. Second, she started playing the public sympathy game. A day later, her sister posted some vague caption like, "Pray for my brave angel. Going through so much right now. Some people are truly evil." Cool. I guess we're running the Instagram trauma marathon now. I didn't respond. Then she called my mom. Yeah, out of nowhere, said she just needed someone with a heart to understand what I'd done. My mom told her to call her lawyer. At this point, it was obvious she was grasping at anything to turn public perception in her favor. The whole "you ruined my life" angle wasn't getting traction. So she needed something darker, something more tragic, and unfortunately for her, something that required evidence. I half expected her to show up at court with a neck brace and crutches like she was prepping for a daytime talk show expose. I didn't flinch. I didn't text again. I didn't even bring it up to her lawyer. If she wanted to play martyr, she'd have to do it on the stand with facts, not with emojis and typos. The night before the hearing, she messaged me one more time. "I hope you have a good night's sleep. Must be easy when you don't have a conscience." Didn't reply, just turned my phone off. Because see, I wasn't scared of her story anymore. I was scared of believing it even for a second. That's what manipulative people do. Make you question your own memory. Make you feel like maybe you are the villain in someone else's badly written drama. But not this time. This time, she was walking into a courtroom. And I was walking in with nothing to hide. Court day landed like a thunderclap. I wasn't nervous. I was ready. Natalie had the paperwork triple prepped. 3 copies of everything: the texts, the bank fraud attempt, the restraining order, the incident report from Jordan's apartment. Even a statement from his neighbor confirming Jenna screamed, "I gave up my whole marriage for you," before crashing his car into a garage door. Jenna showed up wearing all white like she was auditioning for forgiveness. She had a new lawyer too, some fresh-faced guy who looked like he got his JD from YouTube. First 5 minutes the judge brings up the restraining order violation. Jenna tries to act confused. "I didn't mean to violate anything. I was just emotional. I just needed to talk." The judge wasn't impressed. He nodded like he's heard that song on repeat. Then her lawyer starts making noise about emotional distress and abandonment. Tries to make the case that I neglected Jenna in the marriage. That she only sought comfort elsewhere because I was cold and unresponsive. Natalie slid a folder forward like she was handing him his own defeat. This includes time-stamped messages from her and the man she pursued while married. Recorded evidence of emotional infidelity, a physical altercation, and a restraining order violation. This is not abandonment. This is accountability. He looked through it and visibly deflated. Then came the property demands. Jenna wanted half the house. Not happening. I bought it 2 years before we even met. Full ownership of the car, also mine, lease in my name. Monthly support for lifestyle transition. We had a prenup. That part was very clear. But here's where she really went off the rails. She wanted creative rights to my writing. I inspired some of his work, she told the judge. There are characters in his book based on me. I deserve royalties. I laughed, not a chuckle, a full courtroom echoing laugh. Couldn't help it. The judge shut it down immediately. Unless you co-authored or signed a licensing agreement, you're not entitled to any literary profits. Natalie didn't even need to argue that one. It was a slam dunk. Then her lawyer says, my client would like to address the emotional distress she endured during the dissolution of the marriage, including the loss of a pregnancy that she attributes directly to the respondent's abusive and neglectful behavior. My lawyer looks at me like, oh, we're doing this. I just nod because we were prepared. Judge raises an eyebrow. You're alleging the respondent caused a miscarriage? Her lawyer, clearly sweating, yes, Your Honor. She experienced a loss due to extreme emotional duress during the separation. Judge, do you have medical documentation to support this claim? Silence. Her lawyer shuffles papers like maybe they magically printed themselves. My ex stares down at the table, fake crying. He mumbles something about needing time to produce it. Judge isn't buying it. This is a serious accusation. If this court is to consider it in its judgment, I need verified medical records from a licensed professional. Do you have them or not? Her lawyer hesitates, then says, not at this time. That was the moment the whole room shifted. Like a pin popped the balloon she'd been floating on for months. My lawyer stands up, calm as ever, Your Honor. We'd like to enter into evidence the plaintiff's recent text messages sent directly to my client making the allegation, along with our written request for medical documentation, which was ignored. The judge skims through them, then looks back at her. Ma'am, do you understand what perjury is? She suddenly perks up and blurts out, I was pregnant. I didn't go to the doctor yet. I didn't have time. I was grieving. The judge doesn't even raise his voice. Claiming an unverified pregnancy loss as a legal argument with intent to sway this court without evidence is extremely serious. If this is a fabrication, you may be subject to sanctions. And if this tactic was used in any financial claims, or with third parties, this borders on fraud. Her mouth drops open. Her lawyer immediately asks for a recess. Too late, because that wasn't even the worst part for her. See, the court had already received subpoenaed financials, stuff she thought she could bury. Turns out she'd used my name after the separation to apply for a housing subsidy, claiming domestic hardship and a dependent also known as her fake pregnancy. And she listed my income as if we were still living together. That came up, Judge. Are you aware that you submitted a declaration to a public housing agency claiming you were carrying a dependent child and still cohabitating with the respondent? Her, I didn't mean to. It was a mistake. So, the pregnancy was real for the housing application, but not real for medical records. You could feel the air leave her lungs. I swear even her lawyer leaned away from her like she was contagious. Then he turned to my lawyer and said, Counsel, do you intend to pursue this further? My lawyer says very plainly, we're filing a separate claim regarding fraudulent use of my client's personal and financial information with the housing authority. That is already in motion. It was beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen a human being fold so fast. Her dramatic posture melted into a slouch. She stopped fake crying and just sat there blinking like a broken Roomba. And then, like they passed around a script backstage, her family started acting up. First, it was her mom, Diana, sitting in the back pew, huffing loud enough for the whole room to hear. Then she started whisper yelling at Stacy, this is disgusting. He's humiliating her. After everything she gave him. Stacy tried to chime in too, stood up in court during a recess and approached me like we were going to talk it out in the hallway. I didn't even blink. You walk away from a woman like Jenna, she said. You better hope karma's not real. I looked her dead in the eye and said, Karma already came. Her name's Natalie. Security asked her to leave after she muttered something under her breath about slashing tires. But the surprise cameo, Jenna's uncle, some crusty old man named Vince, who I've only met twice. Last time was 2018 at a barbecue where he got drunk and called me too soft to be married. Vince stands up and says to the bailiff, that's my niece up there. That man ruined her. He had to be escorted out of the building after refusing to sit down. Whole family circus. And Jenna, she just sat there letting it happen. No apologies or shame, just watched like the show was about her and she was waiting for the applause. The judge ruled in my favor on every count. House stays mine. No support payments, no car, the prenup held, the restraining order stayed. She walked away with a few boxes of clothes and a $5,000 lump sum just so we could officially be done without dragging it another 6 months. She signed the agreement with a shaking hand. Natalie closed her folder and said, that's it. But Jenna wasn't done. As I walked out of the courtroom, She rushed up behind me and said loud enough for half the hallway to hear, "You'll never be happy, Alan. You're too cold. That's why I left you in the first place. You can't even feel." I didn't turn around, just kept walking. Then I heard her say, "You ruined me." I stopped for half a second, looked over my shoulder, and said, "You did that all on your own. I just stopped saving you from yourself." Walked to my car, drove home with the windows down and music on. That night, Stacy posted another one of her cryptic rants. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes people give up, but they'll miss what they threw away. Justice is dead. One of her friends DM'd me an unhinged rant about gaslighting a grieving woman, and I responded with one sentence: "Let her show you the paperwork." Never heard back. 2 days later, her lawyer formally dropped her, which, if you know anything about family law, says everything. Last I heard, she's taking a break from society to heal. Translation: hiding from the fallout of her own performance. As for me, I walked out of that courthouse with my shoulders back and my conscience clear. She tried to paint herself as a victim, but all she did was bury herself deeper in her own mess. And now, for the first time in a long time, I get to live without checking over my shoulder. Then Natalie sent a final email. "She's officially barred from contacting you for any reason. She breaks it, we sue." That night, I sat on my porch with a tea and watched the street go quiet. For the first time in years, silence didn't feel like punishment. It felt like peace. But losing wasn't humbling for Jenna. It just made her more unhinged. Less than a week after the court ruling, I started getting alerts on my ring cam again. Not just once, multiple nights in a row. She'd pull up in some beat-up sedan. Not her old car, which got repossessed, by the way, but something that looked like it was borrowed off a Craigslist stranger. She'd park across the street and just sit there. One night, she stumbled out and started shouting at the house, "Alan, I know you're in there. You can't pretend I don't exist forever. I loved you. I still love you." All of this at 2 a.m., screaming like she was on stage. My neighbors texted me, "You want me to call someone? Is this a movie?" That kind of thing. I didn't even open the blinds. Instead, I called Natalie the next morning and sent her the footage. She filed the violation within 24 hours. Jenna got served again, now with fines attached. She didn't even bother showing up to contest it. That's when I knew she was done playing smart. She was just running on fumes. A few days later, I got a call from Stacy. New number, obviously. She started in with her usual dramatic sighs and fake concerned voice. "Jenna's not okay. You got what you wanted in court. Do you really have to keep punishing her?" I said, "Stacy, I haven't spoken to her in weeks. She's the one sitting outside my house at 2 a.m., screaming into the bushes. That's not punishment. That's her brain short-circuiting." She said, "You're being cruel. She's drinking again. She's not eating. She's spiraling." I said, "Maybe she should spiral into a job application." Click. That was the last time she called. A few days later, Jenna finally hit rock bottom. Jordan filed a second lawsuit. Yeah, the guy who ghosted her after she crashed his car. Apparently, he decided she needed to pay for the damage, body repair, garage door, and emotional damages. He also had a witness, the neighbor with the ring footage, and a podcast about toxic relationships. No joke. The guy posted a full episode about the unhinged woman who tried to turn a one-night stand into a hostage situation. Jenna didn't even make it 2 minutes before being named outright. Natalie forwarded me the lawsuit docs just for entertainment. I read them over coffee. My favorite line: "The defendant displayed a level of emotional instability that presents a clear risk to property, safety, and common sense." That one hit like poetry. The lawsuit sent Jenna spiraling again. She showed up at Stacy's place, refused to leave for 3 days, screamed at their parents when they suggested therapy, tried begging her old job to take her back. They didn't. Apparently, they'd been waiting for an excuse to cut her loose after multiple sick days and unapproved travel. By the end of the week, she had no car, no job, no apartment, and was being sued from 2 directions. So, her parents checked her into rehab. Her mom sent me an email through a new burner account. "Please consider visiting her. It would mean so much. She's finally trying." I sent a 2-word reply, "Not interested." Blocked. Natalie drafted a final message to Jenna's legal team. "Any further attempts at contact will be met with formal action. Mr. Allen has exercised extraordinary patience and silence. That ends now." I took a trip to Montreal for a Formula One event I always wanted to see live. Walked the pit lane. Got a signed hat from a driver I've watched since I was 20. Ate steak alone and loved it. And I realized something halfway through that trip. I'd spent 9 years trying to love a woman who didn't even know how to respect me. The moment I stopped carrying her mess, everything got clearer. She finally had to sit alone with herself. And that was the one thing she never learned how to do.